the viewpoint that I and we at DarkMatter that we take, it's different than some of the other, even within the IoT space, like IOTA Foundation, is that there's a tendency there, and of course coming from the Bitcoin community, that things are too permissioned and they should even be more permissionless. And so, for example, in the IOTA Foundation, they say that the consensus to put transactions into blocks should not be separate from submitting transactions to be put into blocks, and that those who submit should, for every transaction they submit, they should have to deal with two past transactions to bring them into blocks. And the reason why, coming from my background at places like the National Security Agency and Sandia National Labs, as well as BlackBerry and Motorola, for example, come at it that we need to, in certain cases, to be able to audit transactions to deal with regulatory compliance, and also that not all devices or users are created equal, that they have certain attributes that they want to prove to others, but they don't necessarily want everyone else to see that information about them, and they don't necessarily trust other users and devices to make decisions on how their transactions should be put into the blockchain or not. And so I look at permissioning not just at the level of putting transactions into blocks, but who gets to see the attributes of users and devices, and to see whether policies are being conformed to for a given type of transaction. Yeah, a couple of points on that. One area that I've been exploring is that even if we don't lock down the Equifax type things, would be great if we could do that, but that there's a more basic problem, is that our identities as users are tied to things like social security numbers or Emirates IDs and fixed static things that once they do get breached, then you have massive identity fraud. And so I've been looking into bringing anomaly detection to the edge of the network through blockchain, and so you could release selectively where you've been at certain times and prove to your credit card company or your bank that you couldn't have been in New York City when you were here in Dubai, for example. So that's one aspect of that I'm looking at. So everyone knows this, but that IoT is not, I was at a conference recently where they're talking about the fact that even now some don't track how many devices they have, but it's going to become virtually impossible, because embedded within walls are going to be sensors, and so things that either your devices or devices of others that are communicating with your devices, they're going to be so present everywhere that thinking about security it's not going to be possible, because you're not even going to know where those devices are. So we're going to have to embed security into those devices at the same time as those devices are often low powered and so resource constrained. It's a very tricky issue.
Yeah.